Hello Foggies, and welcome to our Christmas episode, episode 21 of The Foggy Author. If we haven't met before, I'm Brett Jackson. This is Hoggy, my trusty pig-shaped timer, and together we write books through the haze of brain fog. If you're new here, this is the channel where we talk about being an author with brain fog, and how to keep creating without burning ourselves out trying to be productive. Today's episode is our 2025 year in review, and it's also our official Christmas 2025 episode. So grab something warm, settle in, and let's slow all the way down, because even Hoggy will be clocking out. The fog log. Before we talk about numbers, tools or projects, we start where we always start, the fog. 2025 was a year of learning how to listen to the fog instead of arguing with it. Some weeks were clear, some weeks were heavy, and instead of pretending that didn't affect my work, I built systems that expected it and shared those with you. That's where the fog log came from. Not to just track productivity, but to track reality. And one very important fog management system deserves a moment here. Hoggy, because no fog log is complete without him. By now you've probably met Hoggy, my pig-shaped timer, accountability partner and accidental creative director. Hoggy doesn't care about word counts. He cares about showing up and stopping on time. He's the reason why my writing sessions stay short and productive. Breaks actually happened, and burnout didn't win this year. But Hoggy isn't just a work colleague, he has a life. And as we can see, he's developing quite the social calendar. Last week he was getting in the festive mood, putting up his Christmas decorations. This week he's joined me at the pub at our official staff Christmas do, and now he's at home hosting his fans and family. That's his twin brother Iggy, his cousin Twiggy and his uncle Wiggy, as they all get cosy playing some Christmas games. They like playing games such as Pass the Parsnip. It's kind of like Pass the Parcel, but whoever gets the parsnip has to take a break. Hoggy approves. They also enjoy things like Snuffle Bingo, Classic Bingo, but all the squares are snacks, naps, tea and forgot what I was doing. Another favourite is Guess the Timer. Someone sets up a mystery timer. Everyone guesses when it'll go off. Closest wins the pudding. There's pig family trivia with questions like who fell asleep first, who resets the timer 3 times, who ate all the biscuits. And there's an amazing game of Hoggy Says. It's a bit like Simon Says, but with frequent breaks and confused instructions. Hoggy says, wait, what were we doing? Musical cushions is just like musical chairs, but nobody actually loses. Someone just sits on the floor and gets a blanket. We've got Timer Jenga, where each block has a gentle task. Say, for example, drinking water, stretching, stopping working, or compliment another pig. And they really like Oink or Not, where they ask, is it a real pig noise, a timer beep, or someone's phone? Debate definitely encouraged. The Great Biscuit Heist has to be one of the favourites. It's a cooperative game where the pig family must retrieve snacks without waking me, the author. Nap Roulette, another firm favourite where they spin the wheel for a 10-minute, 20-minute or just resting my eyes nap. And the end of the day games tend to be things like competitive sitting. One of my favourites. Whoever moves first has to make the tea. Hoggy always wins. And they've got a great lineup of cool things to watch on TV, including the Great British Pig Off. It's baking, but everything is mud safe and judged on snack density. Slow pigs, canal, farm and field, just pigs walking, occasionally stopping. No plot? Perfect. Planet Pig, definitely one of Hoggy's favourites. Deep narration, so intelligent, so pink. Pigs of the World, where every episode tends to be all about the family arguing about which pig is most like Hoggy. There's Master Pig, which is judged entirely on enthusiasm and plating apples nicely. And there's Countdown. No, not that one. This one is all about timers. Hoggy hosts. Everyone loses track of the rules. And when the board games come out, we tend to have the fireplace, but with pigs. Just occasional snoring and snorting in the background. They like the rainy barn ambience used during naps, writing breaks, and existential pig thoughts. Now, every serious creative operation needs morale, and Hoggy takes morale very seriously, which is why Hoggy and I are officially shutting down for Christmas. No timers, no sprints, no productivity guilt, just rest, warmth, and doing absolutely nothing that looks like optimizing. If Hoggy can take time off, so can you. Now, before we fully shut down, let's rewind the year properly. Fantasy or sci-fi? One of the recurring questions on the channel this year was simple. Fantasy or sci-fi? It's a fun genre game where I put out 10 character names and you guess whether those names are fantasy or sci-fi. There's also been an Ask the Author segment, and I've absolutely loved every single question. It's been thrilling to be able to answer those and give you an insight of what it's like to be an author with brain fog, and to be able to connect with others with brain fog. Thanks very much for joining me this year. It's been brilliant. That sci-fi and fantasy game would usually carry us on to the book of the week. And this year's book of the week recommendations were some of my favourites. Some from the authors list I'm a part of, and also a chance to find something new and check out some great titles. Of course, sometimes it can be difficult to read, especially when you forget what you're reading. But you know what? Foggy progress still counts, and that progress really helps. Which brings us on to another big shift, the featured article. Review of 2025 as a Foggy author. In 2025, I moved from a traditional newsletter to the Time Trekker's Journal on Substack. It became a much better space for growing my audience, a thinking space, and a place where I could get a little bit creative when it came to science fiction. But something was missing. That sense of shared fog shaped everything I researched this year, but it wasn't appearing in my newsletter, and I decided I needed to do something different. This year's content came from one question. How do we keep writing when our brains are tired? That led to such episodes as Where Foggy Sci-Fi Ideas Come From, 10 fog-friendly podcasts, Why My Timer is a Pig, Writing When You're Too Tired, Reviewing Books to Manage Brain Fog, Social Media Advertising, Does It Even Work? A short story experiment testing 7 writing apps, what an author does on their week off, 5 reading tips for foggy brains, 5 ways to remember characters, no social media 8 months later, writer versus indie author, the Foggy Author official launch, sneak peeks, reboots, and new beginnings. Each one was an experiment in doing less, better, and producing more while looking after the foggy brain. Because as someone with a foggy brain, we're always doing something. and it tends to be again and again and again the same thing, because we forgot what we did in the first place. So this year has been all about doing less repetitive thinking, doing better productivity, and looking after our foggy brains. So what actually changed behind the scenes? This year I've already mentioned that I moved from my normal newsletter to the Substack newsletter. Then I made the giant leap to YouTube, which is great because all of you came with me and you all became foggies. Thank you so much. In the last year we've had 42 YouTube foggies come join us on the channel, so thank you. I've had steady book progress for Time Clones Book 2, which is now 28% finished on the final edit. There have been audio book chapters from Time Clones Book 1. I've put up some new shelving, I've bought a Mac, and then I abandoned it, and then I built a PC. I switched from Mac to Linux, and I changed my video editing software from the rather expensive Final Cut Pro to the completely free Kdenlive Live, and I've never looked back. I've moved back from LibreOffice because it was just too much of a fog fest for me, to the much more fog-friendly Scrivener. We did some Wednesday writing lives, and I hope to carry those on in the new year. And Hoggy became a legend. Plus, one very intentional absence. There was no social media for over a year. That meant no posting, no scrolling, no algorithm panic. Growth was more focused on YouTube and in my writing. Focus was deeper, and honestly, that made this year completely survivable. So, let's be honest about how it went. What worked? Fog-aware systems, short sessions, Discord author body doubling, which is where other authors do writing sprints together, letting Hoggy say, "Time's up." What didn't work this year? Forcing clarity, chasing trends, ignoring rest signals. 2025 was a big year for change, for the better, and it worked. I'm now happier, working well, and I have a little friend to keep me organised and keep me company on those late nights of writing. 2025 has taught me this. You can be foggy. You can be tired. You can enjoy fantasy and sci-fi. And you can still be an author. Especially if you know when to focus and when to stop. Hoggy and I are now officially off duty until the new year. No timers, no goals, just rest. Thanks for joining Hoggy and I on another foggy adventure. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe and share it with your fellow foggies. Until next time, Hoggy and I want to wish you a Merry Christmas, and we'll see you again next year in the future.